Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber has explained the delays after the group's arrival. They were kept on the aircraft for over 10 hours before being allowed to disembark.
It was established that the absence of stamps, return tickets and accommodation addresses did not indicate that the travellers wished to apply for asylum. As a result, once it was confirmed that they would be provided with accommodation and care during their visit, I presented the new fact set to the BMA Commissioner for consideration, including on humanitarian grounds. Once satisfied that the absence of certain elements from their itinerary would not leave them destitute in South Africa in the absence of any asylum claims, the travellers were granted entry into South Africa on the standard 90-day visa exemption, subject to compliance with the standard conditions. By the time that entry was granted, 23 members of the group had already taken onward flights to other destinations. All of the travellers are in possession of valid passports, and at present, none of them have applied for asylum. The Department of Home Affairs has further taken note of a statement issued on social media this morning by the Palestinian embassy, raising some disturbing claims as it relates to the origin of this flight. The department will continue to work with the Palestinian embassy and the rest of the South African security cluster to probe these claims. However, even as we do so, we remain steadfast in our commitment to safeguarding the dignity of vulnerable people at all times.
Well, let's unpack these matters further. Senior Researcher at the Mapungubwe Institute for Strategic Reflection, Na'eem Jeenah, joins us now. Na'eem, good to have you. Thank you very much for coming on. What is behind this uncoordinated exit and entry of these 153 travelers that the Department of Home Affairs is talking about? I mean, what is your understanding of how this flight originated and how these 153 Palestinians left Gaza?
This flight originated as part of an Israeli ethnic cleansing project, basically. These people and others like them who have been sent to other parts of the world went onto a website that they were told about by an organization called Al-Majd, which is a very dubious organization, claims to be in operation for 10 years, but has a website that's 3 years old, claims to be registered in Germany, but we found that it's not registered in Germany, claims to have an office in Germany, but does not. We visited the office. Our people there visited the office. They asked for people who wanted to leave Gaza to apply and to pay an amount of money, which they did. And then one night, people would get called and told the next morning, you will leave. The next morning, they were put onto buses, told they can take nothing but rucksacks, backpacks, then cross over into Israel. On the Israeli side, they were told that they're not allowed to take even the rucksacks, only their cell phones, passports. Then they get taken to the Ramon military airbase, from where a chartered flight takes them to Nairobi. And from Nairobi, another chartered flight, in our case, brought them to Johannesburg. At no point were these people told where they were going to be taken, what was organized for them, or anything like that. In fact, on the flight that arrived yesterday, I know of two of the people who I spoke to. One had a booking that was given to him of a hotel in Mumbai in India. Another had a booking voucher for a hotel in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. These people didn't know where they were going until they landed in Johannesburg. And this is a serious problem. It's for us, it's clear that it's an Israeli project to move particular groups of people out of Gaza and just dump them in different parts of the world, whether it's South Africa, Malaysia, Indonesia, etc.
Right.
And that's what happened yesterday.
So your understanding is that this was not financed by any organization. The people themselves actually paid for this flight.
No. They paid a small amount. I mean, $1,500 doesn't cover these two chartered flights and accommodation, etc. No, it was subsidized by someone, whether it's Al-Majd or their handlers, the Israelis, whatever. But it was subsidized. But the point is that whether people paid, even if they paid the full amount of this, putting people on a flight, refusing to allow them to take even toiletries like toothbrushes, and then sending them on to destinations without telling them where they're going to is human trafficking. And that's the problem here. This Israeli project is a project of human trafficking to add to the ethnic cleansing and genocide that they're doing in Gaza.
So with of course, back and forth of information that is missing, others saying the passports were not stamped. There are those who are saying, well, the Israeli government has done away with the stamping of passports a long time ago. Now you get a slip. What is your understanding of that whole administrative confusion?
No, there's no confusion. It's quite clear. The Israelis did not stamp that passport. Yes, when you enter Israel, if you say, and if they want to be nice to you, if you say, please don't stamp my passport, they give you a piece of paper with a stamp on it. When you exit, they would then stamp that same piece of paper. But these people who arrived yesterday had no stamp anywhere, not on their passport, not on a piece of paper, not on their body or anything. There was no exit stamp. So for any authority in any other country that's receiving them, there's no proof that they exited any country. This is very deliberate because this will then cause problems for them wherever they arrive and put them into difficulty, etc. The Israelis did not stamp their passports, did not give them any kind of exit stamp.
Are you aware then if this organization is planning more flights? We hear from a Gift of the Givers that this is actually a second such flight that has come to South Africa.
This is the second flight to come to South Africa. The first one arrived on the 28th of October. This one arrived yesterday. We've heard from the government that they're now planning to ensure that such flights are not allowed to leave the source. So from Nairobi, the flight will not be, if its destination is South Africa, the South African government or Border Management Authority will not give permission for that flight to leave Nairobi and land here. But as I said earlier, there have been other flights to other parts of the world. And what some of the people who arrived yesterday told us, that they were told by someone on the Israeli side that there's another 1,000 people that will be sent to different parts of the world. They didn't say where. So clearly this project is an ongoing one.
How do you think the South African authorities have handled this one, and I suppose the coordination between South Africa and the Palestinian embassy in this particular matter? And of course, some of the revelations that are emerging, as you mentioned, this organization, the Al-Marj, and their misleading exploitation of this tragic humanitarian condition of the people of Gaza.
So overall, I think that we ended up with a good solution at the end of the day, or at the end of the night. We left that around midnight. But in the initial hours, things were not going well. So the Border Management Authorities said that the rule was, as the President and the Minister explained in your clips earlier, that if people arrived without an exit stamp, without a return ticket, without accommodation, they can't be regarded as tourists. Fine, that's acceptable. But when people began to say on the plane that they want amnesty, not amnesty, that they want asylum, then they have the right to be granted asylum, even if they don't have a passport, which all of them had, by the way. We have videos from early in the morning of people chanting, "We want asylum." We have videos of individuals asking border management officials for asylum, and border management officials later told us that that no one's asked for asylum. Yeah. There was an arrangement made for 3 of us to get onto the plane sometime after midday. And when we were on the plane, we went person to person, to note down what their wishes were. And about 3/4 of the people said that they wanted asylum. That means that South Africa is bound to give them asylum. The Border Management Authority had to give them asylum. We were told that BMA is refusing that. We were told that the Minister of Home Affairs supported that position, that they shouldn't get asylum, that they should be sent back to where they came from. And the whole matter only changed when the President gave the instruction. And by the way, as far as the Palestinian embassy was concerned, they had virtually no role in this. The two officials of this pitched up on the plane at 6:15 in the evening, about an hour before the president made his announcement. It was this collective of civil society organizations that was from the day before dealing with government departments, relevant government departments, BMA, the police, etc., to ensure that the best possible outcome was arrived at. In fact, let me say this, that the officials of the embassy who were there on the plane were telling people on the plane that they will not get amnesty in South Africa and that they must buy tickets and leave.
Let's leave it there.
Which again is a violation of their human rights.
That's Na'eem Jeenah, Senior Researcher at Mapungubwe Institute for Strategic Reflection there on that development as far as the 153 refugees, Palestinian refugees who landed at the Tambo International Airport.